Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai, Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai, Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai. Jeremiah 2:14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? Um, Breathe in Standard Bible. Is Israel a slave? He was born into slavery. Why has he become their prey?
White people did not exist before 1681.
They then broke up the black community by passing what they call Meritorious Manumission in 1710. And what that says now is to make sure that blacks never have a strong sense of community, unify itself, we will grant meritorious manumission. That's why all these southern states had meritorious manumission laws to any black who goes against his own people.
Which in effect said that black could be freed.
That's right.
To enjoy rights and privileges in the society for becoming traitors to their own race.
Right, as a free black. But it would never could be comparable to a white.
Right.
So when that law was passed, then we found that a black could be rewarded for squealing another black, what we call crabbing. And out of a possible 150 so-called insurrections or revolts, slave revolts, a black person squealed in every one of them. Okay, and he was rewarded for squealing on blacks. That's where you get the crabbing in the black
Which is
society.
why there was virtually never a successful black
That's
revolt.
right. But see, and that kind of a system was never used against any other group in this country. No other group, Chinese, Hispanics, or any other group.
White people.
You know, was Israel born a slave? And the answer is no. Galatians 4:21. Tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, yet do not hear the law. The Israelites. I mean the anti-Christians. For it is written that Abraham had two sons, one by a bondwoman, one by the free woman. You know, and he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh. You know, in the same way, like you know, um, Abel was a child born after the of a flesh, Adam, but he was the spirit of wait. So Cain, he was a child of the flesh, Adam. That was the spirit of the serpent. And but the Abel, that was the seed. Like Noah had all these sons, and yes, he had some genetic similarity, relativity to Ham and Japheth. But it's just the nations being brought back for him. All the nations that got brought out, wiped out throughout the flood, I believe, through the spirit. I mean, no, nothing new under sun, you know. But Shem was the child of promise. That's his child. It just spit. To continue the story. But he was born after the bond. But he who was born of the bondwoman was born after the flesh. But he who was born of the free woman was promised, which things are an allegory for these two covenants. One from Mount Sinai, and one which gendereth to the bond of Agar. Um, for this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, which answers to Jerusalem, which is in bondage with her children. But Jerusalem, which above is free, which is the mother of all of us. For it is written, Rejoice, thou barren, thou bearest, rejoice, thou barren that bearest not. Break forth and cry, thou that travaileth not. For the desolation have many more children, which is than a husband. For we, brethren, as Isaac was, are children of the promise. But then he that was born after the flesh persecuted him that was born after the spirit. You know, Jacob was the son of Isaac after the spirit and the flesh. Isaac was just, Esau was just the spirit. Just the flesh. You know? Abraham came through his line, through Isaac and Jacob, not through Ishmael, not through any of the Hagarenes, not through Esau. Same with Isaac, not through Esau, only through Jacob. But as then he saw that born after the flesh persecuted him, that was born in the spirit, even so now. Nevertheless, what scripture that? Nevertheless, what saith the scripture? Cast out the bondwoman and her son, for the bondwoman shall not be heir with the free woman. So then, brethren, we are not children of the bondwoman, but of the free. We're not slaves, man. So then Jake's trying to pull each other. Homeborn slave. It's different when you capture a slave, man. Especially, it's like when I was talking to him, I know. Yo. Kushite. I was talking to this Kushite, he's like, oh, bro, what's the difference, man? I'm like, what's the difference between, we all went through slavery, but it's like, it's different, you know? First of all, I mean, y'all not the people, y'all not the Israelites, so you just be given a religion and being forced on your heritage and, your ancestral, religion, that's different, if you go put the Hamites to Islam, like, and that's not custom, no, okay, I mean, obviously there's a big difference between the Bible, but custom-wise, it's not, um, super far out, and that's not even predominantly that enslaved us. You go look at the Hamites, I mean the Jake, that coming out of Islam, there's a little more structure, even though, but separating us from the truth and all, um, we're nothing, but shit, what you gonna choose? You gonna go into Christianity, you're gonna give the Lord's name and being able to, you know, praise the Lord openly and for multiple wives or be one wife, you know, the Christians on plantation, you know. But homeborn slave is really like someone who's born into captivity. Okay, let me go back to what I was saying. So, and you say, oh, what's the difference? And it's like, it's one thing when they come in and enslave you and whatever, but the Bible tells you about removing people far from their borders, because like that's why it's harder. That's why Jake got reservations when the Jake over the boat and they kept bringing him over here. When you're and what I said to my friend, I mean obviously we know the Northern Kingdom, the natives are the tribes, but they try to discount the slave trade and they try to say the old world was the America. So I say and kind of ingest that you would have to be a certain type of idiot. You had to be a special type of idiot to just be enslaved in your own land, like like every slave was, you know was in quote native or came here during the if everyone was always here and there were no slave ships, right? Because that's why it was so hard to enslave them. You get on reservations because it's like they know their area. They run away. Harriet Tubman wasn't doing underground railroads by herself. She had the help of the Quakers, which are almost good as the Collards. They're almost as good as the Collards. That's some coon statements, but like, people like to talk about, oh, black people enslave black people. Remember my sister said something. I'm like, nah, don't talk about that. People like to just say, oh, duh, duh, duh. I mean, all niggas do, they use whatever they have and they shit on you and they put you down. And all the Israelite woman does is take her welfare state. I don't care what a woman makes. She make $27,000 a year. I don't care what you make. Everything else that's welfare state. So they use whatever they have and kick their shoe at you and they think they don't sell their niggas in slavery when they literally manipulate the house structure to enslave their family, man. Man, E be having her mother on a slave shackle. Shit's so funny. People like to talk about people on their own, but it's like history doesn't start in the 1500s. History don't start. I mean, they don't even go that back far. Only in Columbus, but yeah, history don't start in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. No, um, they all, nobody lived past in Egypt, after a certain amount of time, you know, to tell the Greeks started bringing out slave colonies to North Africa, full of Hamites and Jake. and the other nations around that area. So that's why you see Jake, Berbers, they really, barbarian. I think that goes back to, you know, but then it's just like how any other race or works when they give you a name to demean. You're gonna bring up something like Hmong means free, and that's the same with Amazigh. It means free. So these people have already been stripped of their heritage. You could go look into like they was really into the Hamitic gods, because they was really stripped of their identity and enslaved with Ham and Greek and shit. It's basically the same gods that had different they Hellenized gods, but um they had a little Saint Barbara, you know, you know what I'm talking about. You know, Daniel 9:12. He has confirmed his words which he has spake against us, and and against our judgments, our judges that judges us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath none been done as been done unto Jerusalem. Like I said, nothing, no other nation has been systematically broken down like that. Yeah, these people went through slavery, but they just were trying to enslave you, and there's always kind of left room for a power shift. You know, yes, they'll tell black people enslave white people, but it's like they're still being controlled already by the Arab state, and you know, how many Edomites took over the Arab states? The Mamluks, So these people were slaves, but these people were able to quickly rise up through power, you know. Yeah, you could get power as an Israel if you put down your heritage and come to the Islam, but not as much power as the Mamluks and the Edomites have got. Man, they control the Arab world now. Baruch 4:3. Give not thine honor to another, nor things that are profitable unto a strange nation. O Israel, happy are we, for the things that pleases to God are made known to us. And that's a beautiful thing. Man, these heathens would die to know how to please the Lord. And sometimes we just be taking it for granted. Taking this grace for granted. Gotta do more works. Uh, Isaiah 28:18. And your covenant with death shall be annulled. Your agreement with hell shall not stand. The overflowing scourge shall pass through you. Ye shall be trodden down by it. And that's gonna happen to these race traders, man. You know, we are covenant with death. Jake really loved the slave master, man. Man. Defend the poor and the fatherless, and justice to the afflicted and the needy. What describes a slave better than that? Psalms 82:3. Well, over here, might as well grab the next verse. Uh, Psalms 83:2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult. They hate thee that have lifted up thy head. And man, Jake be waving their head. Who got more pride than the Israelite? Mm, you know, they hate to see you with your head rise, lifted up in the air, man. They put a shackle on it. They hit you with every. They put a shackle on it, man. They did everything to steal your joy, man. Whips, torture, you know, the defilement of your women, your children, of your men, the butt breaking of your men. You know what they did to, what they did to the strong men. Yeah, the men that you see as leaders, big village chiefs. Yeah, I don't even gotta say, man. I don't even want to tear up thinking about that. How, no, the flaming bundle of sticks Esau is. He see a strong man. He says, I want to break him down. You know what I want to do? I take him to in front of everyone. Tie him down. Let my son do it. They had taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation that they be no more, that the name Israel be no more in remembrance, for they have consulted and consented that they are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, Ishmael, Moab, Hagarians. Is that not true? Gebal, Ammon, Amalek, the Philistines, and the inhabitants of Tyre. Well, by faith, Hebrew 11:23. By faith, Moses was born and was hidden 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child, and they were afraid of the king's commandment. Um, by faith, when he came to years, he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. You know, if if Jake could marry a president or a Rothschild or a Tom Banker, look at Jay Leck with the Rothschild, commit adultery with the Rothschild. You know, even give him, his message. That deluded him. You know, uh, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of thy power than choosing to enjoy the pleasure of sin for a season, esteeming the approach of of Mashiach's greater riches than treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king. He endured as seeing him who was invisible, through the faith that he kept the Passover, and sprinkling the blood, lest he had destroyed the firstborn, should touch them. You know? Jake not do that, man. Jake just Jake trying to fulfill the flesh. Fuck the flesh. Fuck the flesh. Um no, I got distracted. Uh no. That's why the Lord's not coming to save the whole nation. If the Lord came to save the nation, one Israelite can mess it up. Or we'd be waiting. We ain't waiting for generations. Romans 11:7. Then what? Israel have not attained what he seeks for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Man, they can be jealous of the truth. Jake hate to see you in the Bible. Jake hate to see you in a group chat. Go intense with Jake. Then they be, oh, you actually found the truth. you know? Oh, I don't know what I don't know what I just exited out of. Hopefully, I read it already or something. You know? Um, at second Ezra 9:16, like is a wave. Um, You shall not take vengeance nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. You shall love your neighbor as you love yourself. I am the Lord. I am Yahweh. Loving your name, not yourself. Well, you're gonna, just for your sake to be free. You would sell it. Imagine everything everyone. I'm sorry, this is kind of hard to do. Like when you really think, when you really think about certain things and what certain things your people had to endure, and just imagine everybody. You know, you don't have survivor's guilt. You don't have survivor's remorse. Everything that all the Israelites had to go through after attempting to. They found out that they were gonna plan a revolt, and you just snitching. You're just carrying your free, and you could be sold back into slavery. Think about all type of tortures. And this is the type of shit they don't want to think about. Black History Month. You should be reflecting on all the pain and everything your children went through. That's why you're behind. That's why Jake's behind. These niggas tell you, oh, you get over your shit, stop complaining. Yet they gonna go into their history and all their traumas. You ain't trying to do that. That's why you're last. That's why Jake last. Jake is just trying more pleasures in season of sin. Maccabees first Maccabees 1:11. In those days went out Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let's go make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. Um, since we departed from them, we've had much sorrow. You know, Jake's telling out their brothers to to receive that benefit from society. For rebellion is a sin as witchcraft, and stubbornness is a sin of iniquity and adultery. But thou hast rejected thy word of thy Lord; he hath rejected thee from being king. You know, rebellion is a sin of witchcraft. Stubbornness is not idolatry. That idolatry that you gonna sell your brothers off for Esau. That's an arrow to the heart every time I think about selling out a revolt. But that's what the Lord wanted. We can't get over that. That's how the Lord wanted. Ye John 8:44, ye of your father the devil, and the lust of your devil he will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. He abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. He speaketh a lie, and he speaketh his own, because he is a liar and the father of it. He's the father of lies, and these people coming in the mind of Edomites. You're selling out your brothers, man, trying to revolt. That's why you can't trust Jake, because, you know, Jake will rat you out for more freedom, you know. The sibling will throw you under the bus so they could just, you know, live unbothered, go where they want, So how much more actual slavery? But these are the people that they mock, you know. They mock the Jake that sold Jake into slavery. They don't think about how many thousands of years of separation between um you know the Greek slave colonies, and they don't know what the Sephardic Jews went through, especially after a Spanish Inquisition. You're gonna be more obedient than a lot of the other Jews, especially, man. Niggas talking about, oh, so people sold each other. Y'all know the history, man. It's very complicated, man. It's them or you. It's them or you type shit. So no, it's them or you and them. It's them or you and them. You might have your fringes under your garments, but you gotta fight these wars, man. Or it's them, you and them, or your and your family. Good choice. Yo, this, yeah.